Good evening, lovely spirits. It's the wise servant here, Mr. Solace. Now, today I want to do this very important video called Trees Are Alive. And I say this video is very important because trees are in very bad shape, and it's a deep saying. It's all about perspective on how you view things. How you view things is a matter of your understanding, but I want to do this video proving to you guys that trees are alive. And I don't want to just prove it through my perspective. You know, I teach the life and how to learn from the life, but I know you guys like references, so I'm going to prove to you guys that trees are alive according to scientists also. So it's a very deep saying. Now, before I even get into the video, the details of it, I want you guys to understand, a lot of us walk around and we see people and they seem to be aggravated for no reason. So we all know certain people just seem to be aggravated for absolutely no reason. Even us sometimes ourselves. You may just, some days you like, man, it's one of them days. And it's really nothing happened. There's nothing wrong, but it's just one of them days. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp, man. This all has to do with trees. See, we all know trees push out oxygen. And we receive that from the trees. But it's deeper than that, because not only is oxygen being pushed out, but all is energy. So with the oxygen, you have the energy, which is the emotional state that the tree is in. So when the oxygen is being pushed out, the energy of the tree is also being pushed out. So it's like you when you breathe. You're pushing out energy also. So if you're in a bad emotional state, you breathe and push out in that state. If you're frustrated, you breathe frustrated. Oh. If you're mad, you breathe mad. If you're in loving state, so it's a deep thing you have to grasp. I say that because when the trees are pushing out oxygen as well as the energy, trees are in bad shape. Trees are in agony. You have to grasp how deep this is. Because when they're pushing out the oxygen and the energy, you're not only receiving the oxygen, but you're receiving the energy in the emotional state that the tree is in. You're receiving all of that. So if you sometimes feel like, man, it's just one of them days where I feel aggravated, it's a deep thing. That's the tree communicating with us. Not just us, but all the living beings in the life. The tree is communicating with us. And I'm going to break that down in the video, how the tree communicates. Because we don't communicate with trees anymore. But it's a deep thing when you get those feelings and, oh, it's one of them days where this place just feels, it's a deep thing. It's the emotional state of the trees and the energy that they're pushing out. And they're communicating with us, but it's a deep thing. When I get into the video, I'll explain how trees communicate. But we're completely disconnected from that aspect of life, understanding that we can communicate with more than just our species. It's a deep thing we have to grasp. All is here. All can communicate with one another. It is not just the species you're in. So it's a deep thing. Before man is conditioned, civilized in the way we say it, before man is civilized, he has all his natural talents, communicating with the other aspects of the life, the other life forms, he still has the connection with the life. But the more you condition someone into the system, the civilized way of living that we live, once that happens, it's a deep thing because so much is lost. Your connection to the life, all of that is kind of lost in that. And it's a deep thing, man. I want to go ahead and get into this video now, explaining to you guys how trees are truly alive. And it's a deep thing because trees are more than just living beings. They're more than just alive. They're more than just living beings, but they're the gods of this earth. And we so disconnected, we do not understand that. All other life knows this. Man does not. Trees are the gods of earth. Now, when I say gods, I'm using that word because that's what y'all familiar with. But when I say gods, I mean in the true nature. Y'all understand gods in a dominant way. The religious way. I don't mean in that way, but I know y'all familiar with the word. But truly, trees are the servants. And this is higher in universal rank than a god. Gods are lost into their Satan, which is dominance. It doesn't matter if it's a physical man or, as y'all would view it, a creator of worlds. However you want to view it, dominance is not the order of the life. So trees are servants. This is greater than gods, but like I said, y'all familiar with gods, that word. But trees, they are the all of this existence. And men in the past understood this. But men of today, there's no understanding of this. Now I want to explain to y'all how trees are alive according to science. Now according to science, during the day, trees, they breathe in or they pull in carbon dioxide, sulfur, all the toxic gases. They inhale or intake this. Trees, they take this in, carbon dioxide, sulfur, these things. Now, they take this in and they use the sun's energy, the sun's rays. They use that to convert the carbon that they pull in, all those toxic gases. The tree uses the sun rays to turn it over into oxygen. Basically convert the carbon and the toxic gases into pure oxygen and carbohydrates, basically food for itself. Now the tree, as it's during the day, this is during the day, the tree is basically inhaling carbon dioxide and exhaling oxygen. And y'all know we breathe oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide. Pretty much you eat food. So when you eat food, you build up carbon dioxide within. So you push that out. The tree takes that in, uses the sun rays to turn it over into more oxygen, pushing that out for the rest of the life. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. During the day, the tree works. Now at night, it's an interesting thing that most people don't know, but according to science, at night, trees breathe how we breathe, meaning they exhale carbon dioxide and they inhale oxygen. So that's interesting. I want y'all to grasp. At nighttime, trees breathe the same way we do. And it's a reason for that. Because at nighttime, there's no sun to convert the carbon into oxygen. So you have to grasp. At nighttime, if the tree pushes out oxygen and intakes the carbon dioxide, the tree wouldn't make it till the morning because it's too much toxics and there's no sunlight to convert it over to oxygen. So trees have a deep intellect. Grasp that. You have to be wise to know, okay, it's daytime, it's nighttime, I can stop working, I can go back to breathing normal. It's a deep thing you have to grasp. At nighttime, the trees breathe exactly how we breathe. In the daytime, they go in reverse mode, and they work with the sun and use the sun's rays to convert all the carbon and things over into oxygen for the rest of the life. So you see how the tree serves. It's like I said, the mother serves the baby because the mother knows the baby's weak. It's not for the baby to take advantage of the mother, but the greater things in the life are supposed to be of service to what's less than. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. The trees obey the orders. Now, in a nutshell, what does this mean, what I just broke down according to science? In layman's terms, in the daytime, trees work. They take all the toxic gases that we breathe out. You fart. It's like, this is real life. We got to start to take reality into consideration. You fart. People are breathing all day long, all out into the life. There's billions of us. Not just, there's trillions, gazillions. Not just man, but the animals. You get my point? Breathing, farting, vomiting, all types of things. Being pushed out. All that toxic gas. During the daytime, the tree takes all that into itself. So grasp how deep it is. And it uses the sun to basically convert it or cleanse the gases back into purity. Oxygen. All gases is basically just dirty oxygen. Oxygen with things added. Just like all drinks are basically just water with things added. So it's a deep thing, but the tree works during the day cleaning up the spiritual aspect of the life that you intake in the oxygen, the gases. It deals with this. All is working, serving its purpose. So during the day, the tree does that. It takes all the toxics, brings it in itself. And it uses the Great Spirit, the sun. It uses the energy from the sun to cleanse it. So that we, meaning all the living things in the life, can have fresh air. Grasp how deep that is. Now, it gets deeper because the tree has intellect. So the tree knows, okay, when the sun goes down, I'm off work. Grasp. No sun, no cleansing the gases and making it pure, turning it back into oxygen. When the sun goes down, the tree can't turn all that toxic gas into oxygen. So grasp the intellect of the tree. The tree say, when the sun get off, I get off too. And grasp how the tree goes back to breathing normal, like everything else. And it intakes oxygen, and it pushes out carbon dioxide like everything else. Grasp the intellect. The tree could be done and continue to just do what it does. Why does the tree know the sun goes down, I go down? Back to breathing normal, buddy. Y'all got to fend for yourselves, so to say. Now, it's a deep thing because the tree converts 10 times more carbon dioxide over into oxygen than it intakes of it. So the tree pushes out way more oxygen than it takes of it at night. So you have to grasp how deep the tree is. The tree has a very deep intellect. The tree works. It completely serves its purpose in all aspects of the life. And it's a deep thing we have to grasp. We have to begin to take care of and keep up with the divine aspects of the life. I know y'all see trees as all trees ain't living beings. They're life, but they're not, and you have to grasp, the trees are alive. They're living. They communicate. They bleed. They scream. They cry. They have emotion. Everything. Just because you don't understand something doesn't mean that it's not alive or real. It just means that you don't understand it. So, dolphins. Scientifically proven that dolphins are whales also, are way smarter than man. By a lot. Like not a little bit. Even an octopus. So much sea life is way more smarter than man. By a large margin. This is a fact, a scientific fact. Undeniable fact. There's an island, I forgot the name of the island, but the melanated people of that island, they hunt fish with the dolphins. They literally communicate with the dolphins. They call them, they come, they do whatever they do, and then the dolphins rush the smaller fish. They rush them towards the shallow water, so that the melanated people of the islands can scoop them up and catch them. And then they, give the dolphins they share, like they got a whole system going. This is what I'm saying. The people of the past, they had a relationship with all the life, not just their species. It's so deep y'all have to grasp, but trees are divine. They have intellect. They are alive. And it's a deep thing, man. They be calling out for us, but we truly don't grasp. It's a deep thing. I'm gonna give y'all some tree facts. Some things I want y'all to truly grasp so that you know trees are alive according to science. Because, if I give y'all things from my perspective as I was just doing, some people say, nah, that's not enough. You could just be making that up. So if I just tell y'all, y'all know trees work during the day, and they clock out at night. They clock out when the sun clock out. Y'all would say, Solid, here goes Solid with that bullshit again. And it's because the lack of understanding that y'all have. A scientist will hear me and say, oh, that's clever how he said that. Because I didn't say nothing different than the scientist. It just, I learned from the light, so it's more simple that way. They learn from their equipment and how their equipment reveals this to them. I just learned from the light, so I just say it like how we live, because that's how I see it. The tree is working. Yeah, word. Everybody got to do their service, so it's a deep thing. But at nighttime, the tree clock out, and it's a deep thing. The tree conscious, it got intellect. The sun is the great spirit, so it got its intellect. But when I break things down in that nature, being as though people lack a certain amount of understanding on certain things, then they take it as if I'm just speaking pseudo and I have no understanding of science. I truly be trying to get people to grasp. I know science, how scientists know. I study what they talking about. I got that. But it's deeper than what they're explaining it to y'all. They're explaining it to y'all, like I said, the way that their equipment is revealing it to them. But this is life, so y'all can't never lose sight of that. But scientists, like I said, they're taught. They're all taught the same thing. They're like robots. So there's no true intellect. It's just conditioned. So, the scientists explain things how they do. I explain things how I do. Now, it's not to say scientists are wrong. It's just to say that I understand a little more clearer. And it's a deep thing because I be out in the life indulging with these things. These are my friends, the trees. I said this in videos before and people laugh at me. It don't bother me. I know they don't really understand. So they see I'm smart, but they like, I don't. And I say, man, I learned from the trees, man, and my buddies. They deep. And they like, man, Solace is crazy. But This is why y'all don't know stuff. Because y'all don't acknowledge things. Y'all like the tree ain't shit but wood. That's my table. That's what that is. And so that's what it is for you. And it's a deep thing. But I want to give y'all these tree knowledge facts. Because it's a very deep thing. Now, how I always say is this. This is my little saying. Respect is a matter of understanding. If you don't understand something, you can't truly respect it. But the more you understand the thing, the more respect you'll have for it. And it's a very deep thing I want y'all to grasp. We don't understand trees. Therefore, there's a lack of acknowledgement, respect, or anything. So it's truly a deep thing, but I want y'all to grasp this. According to science, one tree that's in good shape, grasp. One tree that's in good shape sustains 4 people of oxygen daily. So one tree provides oxygen for 4 people each day. And I want y'all to think on that, because it's a very deep thing. Look in your area. Is there a 4-to-1 ratio with people and trees? No. There might be 4 trees in your whole neighborhood. So y'all have to truly grasp how deep this is. Now, lucky for us, there are still forests in the life. You know, taking the slack up. But still, you have to grasp. If one tree provides oxygen for 4 people daily and there's barely 4 trees in your whole neighborhood, you have to grasp the stress and strain on those 4 trees. Because trees are givers. So they're going to pick up the slack, so to say. It's like a person at work. If 5 people call in for work, well, those that show up for work going to have to do their work. And it becomes more. So it's more on the trees. It's a deep thing. This is why trees are not as big as they used to be. Trees grow fast. They grow big. But it's all a matter of the oxygen. It's all a matter of the toxic gases to the oxygen. And if you kind of get in a perspective of the things I've been breaking down this far in this video, then you have to have a brain to know that we're way out of balance as far as that ratio is concerned. And this is why people are not as big as they used to be. I mean, people are being fat. And this has to do with oxygen also. It's a deep thing. A lot of people that break down diet and their teaching is more on diet. I wish these people would reach out to me, because I don't want to teach everything, and I just want y'all to grasp what's important in life. And that's it. Everybody else will teach what they need to, but understanding is everything. Like, a lot of people teach diet and they really don't understand diet. They're just like guessing, maybe this will work and that will work. And you don't really have to guess. It's a deep thing. A lot of this has to do with oxygen levels and fresh air and things of this. A lot of people fat because they congested with bad air. It's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. A lot of people are fat because they don't intake enough liquids. If you ask everybody, most people don't drink a gallon of liquids daily. A gallon. A lot of y'all are like, that's way too much liquid. No, it's not. That's how much you're supposed to. It's all about the flush, baby. You're supposed to drink a lot so you can flush. But even deeper than that, if you're more full on juices and liquids, well, then you won't need as much food. A lot of y'all eat more than y'all need to because not as much liquids. You don't take as much liquids as you're supposed to. Liquid, juice, these things, they'll fill you up. Not fill you up where you'll be like, oh, I'm full, like I ate a meal, because you know most people are greedy. But if you have a lot of liquids within you, you won't be able to eat as much. It'll kind of balance things out. You know, the liquid is always pushed out, so it's a flush. And it's a deep thing people have to grasp. But like I was saying with the diets, I can help a lot of y'all with y'all diet without even changing what you eat. You eat whatever you want. Just do this. Put a whole bunch of plants in your house. It's simple things, man. I could truly help a lot of y'all, and y'all would be surprised. Like, dang, I didn't even really change nothing I did. I just understood things better. Like, I did drink more juice and liquids, and I've been losing hella weight. Silas, what the hell? Because you eating less, man, because you more full on the liquid. So it's all just simple little things, man, and it's a deep thing. People don't grasp me right now, but I guess as time goes by, the more people I can help. It's just like the trees. Y'all don't understand trees, so y'all don't understand that the trees is here for y'all, to help y'all. Chop them down and make wooden tables and build houses and things. This is why the natives and you go to the villages in Africa, this is why they didn't build their homes with wood. They built like tippy huts, straw huts, grass. They wasn't about to cut no tree down for that. That's God, nigga. You can't do that. You use the straw and the sticks and stone. Don't use the trees. But men in the day they lack understanding. So it's a deep thing. It's the same with me. Y'all lack understanding, so y'all don't really understand that I truly can help y'all, and all I ask is give and receive. It's a deep thing. Brothers string y'all on for life. You deal with me for about a week, you be smart. You be smarter than you know what you need to know. Like, we don't play the string along game. We all flock unto me, my children. No, get this knowledge. Get smart. Because the smarter y'all get, the better you get for me. Because then I ain't got to be worrying about my trees like, man, they stupid. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can begin to grasp things how I do, and we can live right and enjoy the life. You got people working and slaving, they don't even realize. It's deep. It makes the rest of us have to work and slave, and so it's a deep thing. Now I also want to explain how plants communicate, because it's a deep thing. Plants still speak to the insects, according to science. And it's for protection purposes, because plants, you know, plants got it rough. They get beat up a lot by people, other insects, rodents. Everything abuses trees and plants. So it's a deep thing, but the plants still got, you know, connections with certain species in the life that ain't completely lost, like butterflies and bees, certain little ants and wasps and things like this. Probably not ants, but everything else I just named. But it's a deep thing. Like, when plants are being attacked, they release, even trees, like if a tree is being chopped down, they release gases. And it's a deep thing because these gases are like smoke signals. Like if a man is out at sea, you can't hear him, but he releases the smoke signals. Or if he's trapped on an island somewhere, release the smoke signals. It's like a call for help. The trees and the plants do this when they're being chopped down, or it don't even have to be a chopping. You could just be rough with a plant. Walk by a sunflower plant and just be rough with it. Not unroot it or break it, but just, you know, almost break it, injure it in a sense. They release gases. It's a deep thing. This is according to science. They release gases. Now, they also said that not only do they release gases, but there's some type of sound waves being released. And it's a deep thing scientists don't grasp. They screaming and crying. The plants and the trees. And it's like I said in the beginning of the video. We're receiving all that energy because we receive the oxygen from these things. and it's cold-blooded. But in a nutshell, the way I would explain it, trees are like dolphins in a sense, man. You won't always hear, dolphins don't always communicate through the sound. That's kind of how they communicate with humans, but they communicate just through the waves. Like some of their sound or their communication is not sound, but it is sound because it has the waves of the sound. If you can grasp what I'm saying. All sound is not hearable. I'm trying to find a way to explain it. You have sound, and sound has its vibrations, its sound waves. All sound is not a heard thing, but you'll know it's a sound if you can detect the waves, the vibration, the waves of it. And this is what they detect off the plants and trees when they're being chopped down and things like this. They release the gases, basically calling for certain little insects and things like this to help them. And they're also releasing sound waves and vibrations. This is like them screaming and begging. It's a deep, sad thing, man. Y'all have to grasp, man. Y'all have to tap back in with the trees. It's like I told y'all, man. The trees are... I deal with the trees. I talk to them, man. They in bad shape. They in bad shape. They need help. They need y'all to grasp. But it's a deep thing because the trees when they release these gases, it's like smoke signals, and certain insects will come protect certain plants from other insects that may eat plants. It's a deep thing. Herbivores. That's what you call it? I think so. Whatever. But the tree will release certain gases like a smoke signal, and certain insects will come along and basically fight for the plants and help them. So it's like I said, they still have a relationship and a connection with certain species in the life that's not completely lost. And it's a deep thing. Now, before I end this video, I want y'all to truly grasp this. Because trees are alive. And once man gets civilized, in a sense, he kind of loses perspective of this. But I want y'all to grasp. We had slavery in America. So, 1492 to present times. What transpired between then and now. It's a deep thing because trees got it worse than man. Grasp that. You had trees here, all types of animals here. You had man here. When I say here, I mean in America. Before the white man came, the Europeans. I don't want to say the white man because it wasn't just the white man, but before different nations came. Because we got to stop doing that on some real shit. We got to stop saying the white man. Because the white man truly didn't do nothing nobody else wasn't doing. It's just people. When the white man came over here, it wasn't just the white man. It was black men too. They wasn't slaves. Some of them was over the white men. So it's a deep thing. I know over a course of time, and white people kind of took over in a sense, you could say, but we got to just get real. I don't want to get lost into that saying white people, but when people came here and enslaved out America, it was more than just the people. We get lost into self so much in our species. We forget to consider what happened to the plants, vegetation, and trees. Certain animals that y'all probably never even know existed. Certain foods that y'all will never even know existed. Certain trees. When the white man came here, they was chopping down trees, doing all this building. No understanding. You had 10,000 footers going down. Literally, look this up. You had 50,000 foot trees being chopped down when the white man got here. So it was a whole different America. It was a land full of trees, forests. It was basically a land of islands. Basically everywhere looked like beaches and forests. So it was a beautiful, deep thing you have to grasp. You had 50,000-foot trees, 100,000-foot trees. The veneers, this would be like the branches of the trees. Do you know how big the branch of a 50,000-foot tree is? The branch of a 50,000-foot tree is bigger than our trees. And these things would be low, where a man could just walk by and hop up on a tree. Walk on a tree like a paved road. Grasp how big the branch of a 50,000-foot tree would be. I got a video where I'm standing in front of a tree. Nowhere near that size in comparison. And I'm showing y'all how big the branches are and how I could just pull myself up. I think it's called tree-slave connection. Some video like that I did. But it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp, man. The trees, certain animals, like buffalo. What happened to the buffalo of America? It's so cold-blooded. Like, we get lost into the man. What happened to the natives? We the natives, so don't worry about that. We just watered down, mixed in with all those other different nationalities that came here. So the natives is alright. They us. We just lost now from the mixing. But the animals, the trees, all the other aspects of the life that we don't think about, it's cold-blooded. Slavery affected more than just the people. Like, slavery did way more than y'all grasped. It wasn't just about people getting beat up and oppressed, but knowledge and wisdom and understanding was taken away. It's like being separated from your family. We think just families was broke apart, but animals, trees, insects, all of these things were one. And when a man was separated from his family and his village, he was separated from all of that too. Till you get to the point now where man ain't got no connection with trees and animals no more, unless it's their pet. Then they understand you. They like, no. I understand animals are real, and they understand they pet. But when I say like, oh, we can communicate with animals, y'all like, man, he's crazy. He's crazy as fuck. But you communicate with your pet, no problem. So grasp, wildlife is way more divine and wise than a pet. Because the pet ain't nothing but a GMO'd wildlife animal. You know, genetically modified to be a pet. What you think a cat is? It's a deep, simple thing you gotta grasp. It's just GMO. Make a pet out of something that ain't supposed to be a pet. Because this is what men do. This is why they GMO'd the Native Americans, you can say, of America. When I say GMO'd, same thing. Mixed and mingled the genetics. It ain't always got to be a scientific and a lab thing. It could be as simple as reproduction, sex, mixing and mingling. The natives of America knew truth, but once they mixed and mingled in with the other nations, well, their kids weren't completely the same as them. Their whole perspective is different because they related to these people too. And this brings confusion and lack of understanding. And now when you fast forward today, we like, oh, we them people? I forgot. I didn't realize that. I remember my grandma always said we had Indian in our family, but I never connected that they wasn't Indians and they was just us. And that's just what, so it's a deep thing. But people have to grasp, man, slavery affected so much more in the life than y'all could grasp. It's a deep thing. It's written in the life that you can't disrespect trees and the vegetation. It's give you your oxygen. This is everything. This is what cleans up the dirty atmosphere, and it's just a deep thing. We don't have no regard. We don't have no understanding. It's like, it's deep. Wheatgrass becomes straw. But man don't grass. Sunflowers. they become wood trees. I was just outside earlier. I posted on Facebook showing everybody, because I put a post up on Facebook in the summer of a sunflower. My little I like these little my two favorite little sunflowers that I walk by every day. They my buddies too. But in the wintertime, the sunflowers, the stems of them turn into wood. Tree bark. It looked just like a tree. And I posted it on Facebook so people can see. Rose stems, flower stems. Where y'all think sticks come from? All these things transfer over. It's a deep thing. Men, they become stone and rock. That's what a fossil is. You take a dead body, you put it in the dirt. No casket. You're going to have a stone over time. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. People speak of their ancestry, but you got to know a thing. You got to know the ancestors are the rock, the stones. This is the ancestors in real life. I got real life knowledge, not that other stuff. This ain't that kind of page. Just that real life knowledge from the life. So you got to grasp your ancestors is the stones and rocks that you see. You know, bodies break apart once they get hard, fossilized up, like rock. So you got to grasp. All rocks, stones, and things you see is just pieces of bodies. It's a deep thing. It's the ancestors. And the trees was there then. Because that's the gods. And they take care of the life. And y'all truly got to grasp. It's a deep thing. I know y'all think I don't be knowing what I be talking about. But it's only because y'all got a lack of understanding on certain things. The things y'all study and know, I passed that point. I don't want to say it in an egotistical way. I just want to give you clarity. Like, I understand the things y'all know, the science and stuff, the things y'all know. Y'all have to stay current on things. Y'all tend to, I tend to see a lot of teachers throwing out old information. And just stay current. That's all. You know, you got to stay current. Whatever's discovered, and more is discovered on it, and there's more information added over time after they... So you just have to stay a little current, you know. Simple things like this. But I follow what everything's going on in the world. So I don't want you to think I'm just disconnected and, oh, Silas learns from the life and he makes all this stuff up. No. I grasp how I grasp, and then I indulge into what y'all indulge into so that I can find a connection to teach you. Because you can't just learn. You got to teach a person how they know. Simple as that. However you know, I just try to reach you through that. So it's a simple thing. But the way I learn and the way I teach, and my understanding is simple. You don't have to be that smart to become wise if you just grasp what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying? You got to be like extra goofy smart to be a scientist and to understand them. Now, what they teaching and understanding is just life, but they just extra like that. So you get my point? Some people just extra like that, and they want to speak in big words and confuse things, and it's truly because of their lack of understanding. So they do this so that people don't notice that they truly don't know what they're talking about. So it's a simple thing, but in a nutshell, I know the things y'all know. Like I told most of y'all. I was a Hebrew Israelite before. When I break down things in the Bible and I say things in regards to the Hebrew Israelite, I was that before. So before you get quick to be like, oh no, he don't know what he's talking about. Yes, I do. Where you are, I was there already. I was a Hebrew Israelite in 2004. Before that, but 2005-ish, 6-ish, 7-ish. I say around 2008-ish is when I started realizing, like, hold on. I got to get a better understanding of things. But prior to 2008, I was a Hebrew Israelite. I say 2004 is when I stopped like indulging with the Sabbath and holding fellowship on the Sabbath and going to church. And 2004 I stopped doing that. But I still had the faith, and I still had the knowledge that I knew from the years of being a Hebrew Israelite. Not to say that I walked around preaching in the streets and none of that. My faith was a self thing, and I always kept my beliefs and my understanding to myself. Sold my dope, did whatever I did, but my beliefs and what I felt and what I knew and what I studied, that ain't had nothing to do with nobody else. So I don't want you to think I was just out there like the other brothers trying to put on a show for God, but it was for self. And just to make the point that it's 2017, a lot of y'all are Hebrew Israelites. Y'all just came into the faith maybe 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago. Like I said, man, I was Hebrew Israelite a long time ago, brother, so don't get lost and think like, oh no, I'm going to challenge Silas on Hebrew, and your master teaching a Hebrew Israelite thing, whoever your master, whoever brought you in, he ain't on my level either in that. So you ain't even got to worry. It's a deep, simple thing. You just believe what you want. If you want to believe in that religion, that's okay. I'm just here for understanding. I don't really care about all that other stuff. If you're not talking about believing in the life, then I don't care what you believe in after that. So if you're a Muslim, a Hebrew Israelite, or whatever, when you're ready to believe in the life, then, you know, I'm like, okay, yeah, you got my attention. I want to Christian you in, because you gotta come on home, baby. It's a deep thing. But I would never say like, oh, this religion is better than that one. They are what they are. I dealt with most of them, so I have an understanding. I can help you understand your religion or above it. It's all on you, and how you choose to view things. I'm gonna end this video, but I'm gonna just give y'all a quick jewel, because y'all view life as something that you're living in. You're like, you're living in life. You don't understand that you are the life. All the living that you see, this is the life. So living beings do not live in life, but they are the life. They are the existence. Remove all the living, you have no life. So you just have to perceive things better. We separate life from the living. No. You are life. The living is life. You're more than you perceive yourself to be. So it's a deep thing. There's a lot of life because there's a lot of living. One in the same. I am the life. I am not living in it. You're the life. You're not living in it. And we all make up the existence. Not just man, but all the living. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. It's the same like time. You don't exist in time. You are time. Living beings are the time. Remove living beings, you have no time. So we all make up our piece of time in eternity. You have your course of time. I have mine. We're physically in the same existence, and it's a times time thing. We view time as one thing, like this is time, and we live in time, how we live in life, and we are these things. You remove those things, or you remove us, you don't have those things. You remove all the living, you have no time, you have no existence, you have no time, you have no life. We make this up. So you have to grass. You remove all the trees and all the vegetation, you have no ground. So You have individual trees and individual plants, but they're all connected at the root. That's the ground. So we just have to grasp, like, the trees are not in the ground, they are the ground. And they're the life like us. You're not living in time. You are time. And there's many times. So it's a deep thing, if that makes sense to you. There's many times. I'm one of the deepest philosophers of today. It's like I tell y'all, I'm one of the deepest philosophers of today. I'm just still here, I guess. But you have to think on a thing to truly grasp. So when I say things like, oh, it's a lot of times. It sounds simply. Y'all like, oh, it's a lot of times. Sound like he ain't say what he was supposed to be saying right. But I said it right. There's a lot. I didn't mean to say there's a lot of time, but there's a lot of times. And this makes up the great deal of time we have. All the living beings in their individual time make up the great deal of time that we have. And you're a universe, and you have the micro life within, and your body is their world and their existence, and their time is tied in with your time. And it's like I said, we're not living in time, but we are time. All of the life, not just on the level that we're going, but the life within the life. And it's a deep thing, man, but it's your main man, Solace, the wise servant. Peace and wisdom. I'm about to take me a little store run. That's how we do it in New York. Just like that, buddy. And we take a little store run. Y'all be groovy. You hear? It's the wise servant here. I hope that message touched y'all heart, because the trees need y'all. It's a deep thing. The trees need y'all. Peace and wisdom.